Welcome, horror fans. If you're craving a terrifying ride through the darkest corners of cinema, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a hand-picked selection of chilling tales that will leave you on the edge of your seat. From psychological thrillers to supernatural nightmares, we've got the scariest films that you won't want to miss. Grab some popcorn and let's get into it. The film X takes the viewer back to 1979, where a group of young filmmakers go to a remote farm in Texas to shoot an adult film. They rent a house from an elderly couple, Howard and Pearl, unaware that their plans will turn into a nightmare. As night falls, the owners reveal their true nature, and the film crew faces horrors they could not foresee. Director Ty West masterfully recreates the atmosphere of slashers of the 70s, combining elements of horror and thriller. The film explores the themes of youth, aging, and repressed desires, emphasizing the conflict of generations. Particularly impressive is the performance of Mia Goth, who played a dual role, a young actress Maxine and an elderly Pearl, which adds depth to the narrative. X received positive reviews from critics for its atmosphere and respect for classic horror films. However, some viewers noted the predictability of the plot and excessive violence. Personally, I think the film successfully combines the nostalgia of old slashers with a modern approach to storytelling, offering the viewer both tense moments and food for thought. If you are a fan of classic horror films and appreciate deep thematic explorations, X is definitely worth your attention. A Sacrifice is a psychological thriller directed by Jordan Scott and starring Eric Bana and Sadie Sink. The plot revolves around American social psychologist Ben Monroe, who moves to Berlin to investigate occult phenomena. While he is immersed in his work, his daughter Mazzie meets a mysterious young man, drawing her into the dangerous world of a local cult. The film received mixed reviews from critics. On the other hand, some viewers appreciated the atmosphere and the acting, especially Sadie Sink, who convincingly conveyed the inner conflict of her character. Personally, I think A Sacrifice tries to touch on important themes, such as the influence of cults and family relationships. But due to the lack of character development and the predictability of the plot, it does not reach its full potential. However, the film may be interesting for fans of the psychological thriller genre looking for new stories on this topic. If you're interested in watching, A Sacrifice is available on some streaming platforms.
The sooner you stop relying on them, the more powerful you will be. Purifying.
The film Smile tells the story of psychotherapist Rose Cotter, who witnesses the shocking suicide of a patient. After this, Rose begins to experience frightening visions and encounters unexplained phenomena. Trying to understand what is happening, she discovers a chain of similar cases where witnesses of suicides later commit suicide themselves. Rose strives to find a way to break this sinister cycle before it consumes her. The film received mixed reviews. Critics noted the high-quality acting and tense atmosphere, but some pointed out the predictability of the plot and the use of standard genre techniques. Personally, I think that Smile successfully combines elements of a psychological thriller and horror, offering the viewer both moments of genuine horror and food for thought about the nature of fear and trauma. If you are a fan of films that explore the depths of the human psyche and can keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end, Smile may be a worthy choice for viewing.
Hi. I know you're not.
Exhuma is a South Korean horror film directed by Jang Jae-hyun and starring Choi Min-sik, Kim Go-yoon, Yoo Hae-jin, and Lee Do-hyun. The plot centers on the process of excavating an ominous grave, which leads to horrific consequences. The film received positive reviews from critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds an approval rating of 93% based on 40 reviews. Critics praise the strong acting and realistic portrayal of Korean shamanism, which creates a deep atmosphere of horror. However, some feel that the storyline could have been more coherent. Personally, I think Exhuma offers a fresh take on the horror genre, successfully combining elements of mysticism and the occult with cultural aspects. The film is not only scary, but also makes you think about traditions and beliefs, which gives it additional depth. If you are interested in Asian cinema and enjoy films that combine horror and cultural exploration, Exhuma is a great choice to watch. The Beast Within is a 2018 British supernatural horror thriller film directed by Alexander J. Farrell and starring Kit Harington and Ashley Cummings. The film follows a young girl named Willow who lives with her parents, Noah and Imogen, in a secluded house in the English countryside. One night, she discovers that her father has transformed into a terrifying creature, forcing her to investigate dark family secrets and an ancient curse that haunts her family. The film received mixed reviews from critics. Critics note that the film attempts to offer an original take on the werewolf genre, but suffers from a slow pace and a lack of fleshing out. Personally, I think The Beast Within is an interesting take on the classic werewolf story, using it as a metaphor for exploring family secrets and trauma. However, the slow pace and lack of character development may make it difficult for some viewers. If you appreciate films that combine horror elements with deep psychological themes and are prepared for a slow-paced plot, The Beast Within might be of interest to you.
I would never let anything hurt you.
A House on the Bayou follows married couple Jessica and John Chambers, who travel to a secluded Louisiana home with their daughter Anna to reconnect after John's betrayal. Their peaceful getaway is disrupted when neighbor Isaac and his grandfather unexpectedly arrive for a visit. Things quickly take a sinister turn, and the family finds themselves embroiled in a dangerous game where reality and illusion intertwine. The film has received mixed reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 60% based on 10 reviews. Critics note the tense atmosphere and unexpected plot twists, but some point out the lack of character depth and predictability of some moments. A House on the Bayou offers an interesting look at family secrets and moral dilemmas, framed in the genre of a mystical thriller. The film successfully combines elements of psychological drama and horror, creating tension and making you think about the consequences of our actions. If you are looking for a film that combines family drama with elements of mysticism and a tense plot, A House on the Bayou may be a worthy choice for an evening of viewing.
Believes in you. Girl.
In a Violent Nature is a Canadian slasher film directed by Chris Nash. The film follows a group of teenagers who accidentally resurrect a mute killer in the Ontario woods. After he comes back to life, he begins stalking and killing them, with the events unfolding primarily from his point of view. Critics have noted the film's innovative approach to the slasher genre, emphasizing the atmosphere and tension created by the lack of music and the use of static long takes. However, some viewers may find this method of storytelling too slow. In a Violent Nature offers a fresh take on the slasher genre, focusing on the killer's perspective and creating a hypnotic atmosphere of horror. The film successfully combines elements of art house and horror, which makes it interesting for fans of unconventional cinema. If you are looking for an original and atmospheric horror film, In a Violent Nature may be a great choice for viewing. Pengabdi Setan 2, Communion, known in Russian distribution as The Conjuring. The 13th Floor is an Indonesian horror film directed by Joko Anwar. It is a sequel to the 2017 film Pengabdi Setan and the first Indonesian film to be released in IMAX. The plot revolves around a family who, after the tragic events of the first film, moves into an apartment building hoping to start a new life. However, they soon encounter unexplained and frightening phenomena associated with dark forces that continue to haunt them. The film received positive reviews from critics. Richard Kuipers of Variety noted, "The film stands out for its breathtaking visuals, first-rate production design, remarkable makeup effects, and convincing performances." Bloody Disgusting's Megan Navarro wrote in her review, "Anwar stays true to the horror and inventive creation of fear, which makes us eagerly await the third installment to see where it leads." If you are a fan of Asian horror and appreciate films with deep plot and atmosphere, Pengabdi Setan 2, Communion is a great choice to watch. The Exorcism is an American supernatural horror film directed by Joshua John Miller and starring Russell Crowe, Ryan Simpkins, and Sam Worthington. The film follows actor Anthony Miller, who begins to lose control of himself while filming a horror movie. His daughter Lee is concerned about his behavior and tries to figure out whether it is due to his past addiction or something more sinister. The film was released in the United States on the 21st of June, 2024, and was released on digital platforms on the 9th of July, 2024. It has grossed $12.6 million worldwide. Critics gave the film mixed reviews. If you are a fan of horror films with elements of psychological drama, The Exorcism may be an interesting choice to watch.
In here with us.
Men is a British surreal folk horror film written and directed by Alex Garland. It stars Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear. The film follows a woman named Harper, who after a personal tragedy retreats to a secluded English country house in the hopes of recovery. However, her stay is marred by strange and frightening events involving the local men, all played by the same actor. The film received positive reviews from critics. Critics note that the film offers a fresh take on the horror genre, combining psychological thriller with elements of folk horror. Men is a deep and layered film that explores themes of trauma, guilt, and male aggression. The plot is tense, and the performances by Buckley and Kinnear are impressive. The film is thought-provoking and leaves a lasting impression. If you appreciate movies that offer not only horror, but also deep psychological exploration, Men is a great choice to watch.
A man followed me out of the woods.
That wraps up our list of spine-tingling picks for today. If you've seen any of these films or have your own terrifying recommendations, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more horror movie breakdowns. Until next time, keep the lights on and stay scared.